So I want to go over in this video how I get organized when I cut a project. I do the same thing for all projects, big or small, but this is how I do it. First, I take all of my fabrics and I put them in the order they need to be in for the quilt. So on my pattern I'm using, which is one of ours, we go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down to K. So now my fabrics, I put them in the same order. That way I won't accidentally pick up one fabric and cut it thinking it's another fabric. So I'm concentrating on the print and the color, making sure it matches the pattern. So ticking stripe light green is A, so it's on top. And this is all Sunshine from Clothworks. So I've got them all in order on how we're going to cut them. Then I take them over the ironing board and I iron them and press them to make sure I get all the wrinkles out from however it was rolled on the bolt or if it was stuck in a drawer, and so they're nice and flat and they're ready to cut. The next thing I do is I use these little sticker labels. They're just circles, and I label them A, B, C, D, E, F, G all the way through. So as I cut the pieces, I will put a sticker on top of that stack of pieces. So when I go to follow the pattern and it says sew B to C, I know which two piles to grab. So I grab my stickers, have my fabric, and the last thing I grab is a serving tray. I use this to stack up all the pieces on after I cut them, and then I can just move this around the studio. I can bring it to the sewing table. I can put it up on the shelf if I'm not done with it yet. But we have lots of these trays around the studio, and that's what I use them for. So those are the steps I start when I cut my projects. When I'm done cutting, I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so I've got all the pieces cut and labeled, just like I said when I was getting ready to organize this. I have them all laid out on the tray and we're ready to sew. We have our borders, all our pieces are labeled, all our petals are cut, and now we're ready to start with the pattern. And this is why I organize things the way I do. So when I go into the pattern and I'm ready to sew, the first thing it'll say is use block A with B and C. So I know, looking at my tray, and I know it's green. I have two green squares, so exactly the same. I know these are A because I've labeled them as A. And then I have my B's and C's, so I'm ready to assemble my first block. Also, if I decide I don't want to finish this project right now, if you watched our one video on organizing our projects in UFOs, which is up on YouTube, we have these clear containers that we put up on a shelf. I now can take all these cut pieces, lay them in this container, put the pattern in the front, and store it. And if it's a couple months before I get back, I know everything is labeled in here and I don't have to guess what piece is which. I don't have to reorganize it. I can literally pull the box off the shelf and start sewing. So I hope these tips help you the next time you cut a project, because again, being organized at the beginning will make the whole project go so much more smoothly. And if you have tips on organizing when you cut, please make sure you share them below. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure you like and subscribe below. You can find the Whimsical Workshop on our website, thewhimsicalworkshop.com, and that has all links to all of our other social media platforms. Thanks for joining us.